Well, hello and welcome to this week's edition of What's Up Danville. I'm your host, Mark Aaron, Multimedia Design Manager for the City of Danville. Joining me this week is Karen Hibbert, who is a Program Director here at Ballou Recreation Center, which is right in the heart of Blue Park here in the City of Danville. And on today's show, we have a very special event we're going to be highlighting, the first of its kind here in the City of Danville. And if any of you have ever watched the Antique Roadshow on PBS, we're kind of doing something similar here today. It's the Antique Appraisers Show here at Ballou Recreation Center, and this was something the brainchild Karen thought of here. And Karen, I heard this thing sold out pretty quick.
It really did. We had 45 slots, and with 2 weeks to go, we were 100% sold out. So we're very happy with the success of this event.
So tell me a little bit of how this is working. You've teamed up with an auction company out of Hillsborough, North Carolina?
Yes, Leland Little Auction Company out of Hillsborough sent 3 appraisers up here to do an hour and a half of appraising for our items in Danville.
So every person that signed up, pre-registered, got to bring 2 items, is that right?
Yes, they brought 2 items to be have a verbal valuation, and if they want an official appraisal, they can go to Leland Little later on.
Okay, very good. And what we're going to do on today's show is we're going to talk to some of the individuals that brought items into Ballou Recreation to get appraised here today, and you're going to be pleasantly surprised to hear some of these items and what they were appraised for. We had a lot of happy people leaving here today, didn't we?
I think we did. It's kind of some sad, some happy. Some that I found out it wasn't worth very much, but a lot of pleasant surprises, I think.
Yeah, and it's great to hear all the stories. I think you're really going to enjoy this on today's show because a lot of these items were handed down by their grandparents, date back to the 1700s, some of the Civil War time. And they've held on to these items, and they've been kind of like family heirlooms, and they've always kind of been curious about how much the items are worth. And today they get an idea of that. And I know some were going straight back to the safety deposit box once they left here because they got appraised pretty high. But we're going to hear those stories in a little bit. But Karen, tell me, why did you think this would be such a great program? And obviously, you hit the nail on the head because this has been a great event.
Well, I know there's a lot of history in Danville. There's especially a lot of Civil War history, and just a lot of artifacts that have been passed down. So many families live here generation after generation. So I thought that there would be enough history, and it seems as though that there has been. Some things as far away as London have been brought in. So it's been really interesting.
Well, Karen, obviously this was a big hit. So is this something we're planning to do again in the future here at Ballou?
Yes, I'm really looking forward to it. I think it'll be great.
Yeah, very good. Well, we'll have more information about that. You can always log on to playdanvilleva.com to get more information about all the great programs within Parks and Recreation, and of course those right here at Ballou Recreation Center. And this center, I guess, your programs are tailored towards seniors ages 55 and over, right?
That's correct. Yes.
All right. But this event, was it open to anybody, or?
Yes, we open most of our events to everybody. We have lots of art classes that are open to everyone.
Oh, okay.
Various things. So it just kind of depends. We just aim it more towards the interests of 50 and over.
Very good. Well, you can log on to PlayDanvilleVA to find out more. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take you out now and give you an inside look at some of these appraisals as they occurred here at Ballou Recreation Center. Then we're going to talk to actually some of the individuals that were having their items appraised, so you'll get to hear the stories behind some of these wonderful antiques that came through Ballou Recreation Center today.
And let's take a look at this oyster plate. So this, based on the way the mark is on the underside here, I would say that this is probably supposed to look older than it actually is, because it's a flow blue pattern, and the oyster plates, you see a lot of them around the turn of the century, early 1900s. This again, I would say, is probably about the same vintage as the parrot. And so value, there are collectors for oyster plates, but they really are looking for the earlier pieces. And so something like this, I would say, again, about $20 to $40.
Yeah.
Well, it would definitely be early 20th century because it has that made in France mark on the underside, and they didn't start putting the where it was made until about 1920s. And that really kind of falls right in line with the style of this and that real pretty kind of Frenchy, not neoclassical, Rococo style. This is nice quality because all of this is hand painted. That whole scene's hand painted. And this scene is hand painted and artist signed. Looks like Lascaux, possibly. And then also it's that nice cobalt, and there are a lot of collectors for the cobalt color. and it's got the Sev mark here. So I would imagine it's probably Sev's, just because the quality is so nice. One issue that you would have if you were to sell it is that you've got that damage down there, so that's going to kind of decrease the price a little bit. But it's got everything else you want to see on a piece like this. It's got the ormolu mounds, the mark on the inside, all hand painted. And again, early 20th century. This one sold for $1,300. I would say that on this, you can pretty much cut that in half because of the damage. So, you know, if it was in pristine condition, you're looking at about $1,000. But as it is right now, it's still probably $400 to $600. Ooh, an 18th century spoon.
Well, so says Springfield Village, it's a Paul Revere spoon.
Really?
Now, what we don't know is Paul Revere Sr. or Jr.
Yeah.
And is it signed on the other side?
Well, what I'm going to do is let's assume that this is a Paul Revere spoon. I'm going to see what it might sell for. Because auction would definitely be the way to go if you were to sell a Paul Revere spoon, because you're going to just reach the most number of collectors. Here's one spoon that has the maker's mark of Paul Revere, about 1767, and it sold for $650. Here's another one, though, that sold for $20,000, and I want to find out what the difference. And the big difference between the prices there is this one is much more ornate. It has a lot more engraving, and then they also knew who owned it, so they knew who the monogram belonged to and how it passed down in the family. And that all comes to provenance. So that's always going to add extra zeros onto a piece.
Yeah.
Well, we're here with, I think, another happy individual here at the Antique Roadshow at Ballou Recreation Center, Mr. Howard, and I know you brought a couple of pieces in. Can you explain to me what you have in your hand here? And we kind of followed you through the process. It was pretty interesting to see what some of these items were worth.
Well, it was. This is it's a French ceramic bowl. It's early 1900s, probably. Part of it can be dated from the fact that there's printing on the bottom. Right. And then we've got the homework we need to do, which you all can't see, but I can, is this service mark that identifies the manufacturer and really can identify the time frame more precisely. And we've got no idea other than we're certain it was pre-Depression.
Right. So was this handed down?
This came from my grandparents.
Okay,
they had come over from Romania in the late 1800s, so almost certainly they did not have this piece when they came over.
Sure.
And then acquired it sometime before my grandfather lost everything in the Depression. So,
so very unique and very sentimental value to you all. Because I think they appraised it around $400 to $600. Is that right? That's
correct.
Very good, great. And then another unique item you had a Paul Revere spoon. Tell me a little bit about that. That looked really interesting.
Yeah, my dad, back in the late 50s and through the 60s, worked on a number of national traveling projects having to do with the development of retail products over time. And one of the sponsors was Revere Silver. And so they were showing, current silverware versus what was. And in the process of that, my dad acquired this spoon that, according to sources, is most definitely a Paul Revere spoon. We just don't know at the moment if it's Paul Revere Sr. or Paul Revere Jr. And the initials that are on the spoon have no idea what they are.
So you got a little more research to do, and it was in a nice case. So
yes.
Do you plan on cracking open the case to get some more information? I'm just going to leave it the way it is?
I'm told we can open up the case. It won't hurt the spoon, so we really do need to look in the back to see what we've got. But
well, this was something unique for the city of Danville. First time we've done something like this. Your thoughts on having something like this here at Ballou Recreation Center?
I think everybody's had just such a good time bringing stuff in. I don't know if we're people going out crying or smiling, but
some of them have been smiling. I've seen some smiling as they walk up.
But it's been interesting looking at all the pieces anyway.
Well, thank you so much for taking time to join us on today's show, and congratulations on getting the appraisal. Seems like you've got some very unique items.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Hey, good morning.
This is over 100 years.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not signed. Is this something that you inherited, your grandmother's?
Well, I got it out to sell at my grandmother's, but my mother's would be 113.
Oh, wow. Yeah, something like this. It's a print, so it's a lithograph.
Yeah.
And, you know, the value of something like this, it's not that much monetarily because there are not that many collectors that are looking for this. I mean, one nice thing is, you know, you've got the fishing scene and there are definitely fishing collectors.
Yeah.
But really the history and the story that you have with this in your family, because at auction, it's going to bring probably less than $100.
We're now joined by Bonnie Easley, who I really think has the find of the show so far. We're going to learn a little bit more about the cigarette case that she brought in today. Now, Bonnie, I wasn't over there when you got this appraised, so you're going to have to give our viewers kind of a play-by-play of how the appraisal went. Tell me, how did you first acquire this item, and what exactly do we have here?
Okay, this came to me by way of my great aunt.
Okay.
And it was her husband gave it to her. I'm not even sure when, but she was a great aunt, and so she's passed away now. And I would say somewhere in maybe 1920s.
Okay.
But it is a Benson and Hedges cigarette case, and it still has 4 Benson and Hedges cigarettes in it, and they have gold tips.
So she smoked one.
She probably did because she was a smoker.
Yeah, how about that? That's amazing.
But anyway, the outside is trimmed in this little flower. It looks a lot like a pansy, I think. Real diamonds.
Yeah.
And real rubies and real sapphires. And on the back is the letter B, and on top of the B is an H. And so her name, the man that gave it to her, her husband, his last name was Bayless.
Okay.
But I do think that the B and the H stands for Benson and Hedges.
Right, okay. So tell me, what did the appraiser say the value of this item was?
She said that she would say anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000.
Wow.
And she liked it a lot, she said, and she did test it, and it is, she thinks that it's 10 karat gold, but possibly 12. And but she wasn't sure about that because she didn't have the right equipment with her to test the gold.
Okay.
But the diamonds,
all real and
yes,
everything.
they are.
So what are you planning to do with the item?
Put it back in the safety deposit box.
Good place for it. Good place for it. Well, I'm so glad you actually came to the event today, and you found a treasure. Did you have any idea that the item was worth that much?
Well, to be honest with you, my aunt had it appraised back in 1969.
Okay.
And at that time, and it was I don't know if she took it to a jewelry store or where she took it. I've got the paper at home.
Yeah.
But it was appraised at $1,650 then.
So you knew you had a pretty unique item.
I felt like I did, and it's fun for me to look at.
I can't believe the cigarettes are. That is unbelievable.
She said,
the condition of those.
The appraiser over here said that she was a smoker, and I said, well, if you fired one of these, I'm not so sure what's going to happen. You might not have this building left.
I know. Well, thank you so much for coming by today and sharing that story with our viewers. What a great story to tell.
Well, you're welcome, and I just love the senior citizen group, the people, the being part of Parks and Rec, it's a great place to be when you're 65 plus.
It's just a wonderful place, isn't it?
It is,
Yeah.
and if you did, a lot of people say there's nothing to do in Danville.
Yeah.
If you walk out your front door, you can do something 24/7 with the senior citizens.
Absolutely.
This is the original glass and mirrors. They're crackled from age, of course, but they are the original glass mirrors.
This is a very nice piece of furniture. Also, the condition is amazing on these, and this is probably about $3,000.
That's the same as the other.
No, this one is going to be a little bit more.
Well, joining me now is Judy Scarce, and she had a couple of pieces of furniture that she brought in to get appraised today. And Miss Scarce, I was over there filming a little bit, and I think you were very pleased with the appraisal you got. Can you tell me a little bit about the two pieces of furniture that you brought in? I know you brought pictures in, and then a drawer from one of the, I guess it's a lock chest, you said?
Yes, it's a side lock chest.
Okay.
And when you turn the key in the side piece, it locks all the drawers. They will not open without a key.
Okay.
So it's a nice, secure place to store things.
So this dates back to what period?
She couldn't give me an exact date on it, but I think she said 1800s, Wayne. 1800s, and it was, she doesn't think that it was foreign. She thinks it's English or American.
Okay.
And we inherited both pieces of furniture through my husband's family. His parents were antique collectors all their life, and when they passed, they willed us these two pieces, which we were very, very excited about.
Sure.
And we've enjoyed having them, and we thought this is the original key that locks this chest.
Right.
And
you got the manufacturing
we
sticker
do
still
have
on
the
back?
manufacturing sticker, and we also have a sticker on the back that tells the original owner, who was a reverend in Boston, Massachusetts.
So this particular lock chest, what appraisal value did they give you today on this piece?
She said on this piece it would be approximately $2,500 to $3,500, but she said it could go much higher than that because it is in such excellent condition.
Great.
She said it looks brand new, but we both know it's not.
Yeah, well that is wonderful.
Yes, it is.
And then you had another piece as well, right?
Yes, we have what is called a French curio cabinet.
Okay.
Although she said she didn't think that it was actually French in origin. She thought it too was probably an English piece from England. And this piece lifts off, this top lifts off, and this could be used as a side table. And she said that this is burl wood, hand carved, all hand carved, and it too would bring approximately $3,000 to $3,500.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're excited, I'm
yeah,
sure.
well, we've had it all these years and never knew if it had any value or not.
Yeah.
And my daughter said, "Mother, you and Daddy aren't getting any younger," and they wanted to know the approximate value before something happened to us.
Right, very good. So it'll stay in the family for many years
most
to come.
definitely, most definitely.
Well, that is wonderful. Well, I really appreciate it.
You don't get rid of priceless things like this,
Absolutely.
you know.
Well, Ms. Gears, I really appreciate you taking the time to join us on today's show. Thank you for coming and taking part in this event. What were your overall thoughts of the event itself? This is something new for Danville. We've never done this before. So.
No, my husband saw it in the paper.
Yeah.
He got excited. He said, "Judy, this might be a chance to get some idea of what these pieces are worth." And it's really a great opportunity for local people like us who can't go way off up north to have a piece appraised.
Well, that is wonderful. Well, I'm so excited that it was appraised for what it was appraised for. Now you know the value of it. And thank you for coming out today.
Thank you very much.
Right, great.
Forest of London. He's heavy. You're carrying this guy around. Let's turn it around. This is all brass, cast brass. Let's see if I can see anything on the works. I can't find a record on it, but it's a very attractive clock. It's clean. It's time and chime. Did you ever have it working?
I think it's Lounge Tide. It's going to the clock shop as soon as I leave here.
Okay.
Well, I just ran into one of the participants today at the Antique Roadshow here at Ballou Recreation Center, Star Minor, and I see you have a clock that you have brought.
I do.
Tell me a little bit about the history behind this clock and then what the appraisers from Hillsborough said the value of it was.
This clock was purchased by my husband from his stepfather, and he's always wanted to take it to an Antiques Roadshow.
Yeah.
And he's gone now, so I brought it.
Cool.
They've appraised it at about $400.
That is great.
It's solid brass, very heavy, and I guess the money's in the metal.
Well, she basically said it was one of a kind. They really couldn't find any auction records from it, right?
It's from London.
Must be rare.
Well, it's from London. It's a forest. That's all I know.
Yeah, very good. So what did you think of the event? You brought another item as well, right?
I did. I brought a lamp, and the lamp was appraised at right around $300.
Well, great. So you got $700 worth of
junk.
No.
Treasures.
So what do you plan? You plan on holding on to them?
I am. I'm taking him to the clock shop to get him working now. I think he's wound too tight.
Very good. Well, Star, thank you so much for joining us today, and thanks for coming out to the first Antiques Roadshow here at Ballou Recreation Center.
I really enjoyed it.
Well, as you can see, there were some very happy faces as they left Ballou Recreation Center here today. Some of those interviews, we had a cigarette holder. I couldn't believe a value of around $1,000 to $3,000.
Yeah, very impressive.
Still had the cigarettes, and the gold-tip cigarettes in the holder. What a neat story they had, and then the furniture, of course, from Miss Scarce has had that furniture in her family for many years. I always kind of wondered what the items were worth, and today they got an answer. And of course, said I think her daughter will continue to have that furniture for many years to come, so they're going to keep that in the family. So, Karen, again, it seems like it was a great success. Everybody really enjoyed it. And again, you can log on to playdanvilleva.com to find out more information. And as Karen mentioned, we'll be having something like this at Ballou Recreation in the future. So people look out for when that will be, because I'm sure it'll sell out quick.
I'm sure it will.
Because you had like 45 slots, right? Is that
yes,
what it was?
and we really didn't have to do much advertising, and it was sold out in at least 2 weeks ago. So it was really good. We had so many disappointed people that called this week and couldn't get in. So,
maybe
they'll come next time. That's it.
Very
exactly
good.
Right.
Well, Karen, thank you so much for joining us today. Congratulations on such a great program.
Thank you, Mark.
And thank you at home for watching. Until next week, have a great day.